from Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Three. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith, and welcome to The Three. I have a guest today that you are going to want to hear from. And in fact, I want you to either by phone or text or email or pigeon, carrier pigeon, whatever you have to do, get people watching today if you are someone who maybe you have an adoption story, an adoption history, you've overcome incredible battle, you've had to choose joy in your life, you've dealt with rejection and abandonment and all of these things. This is the show for you, and it's going to turn things around. And honestly, it's going to knock the legs out from under any excuse that you have to walk around bitter or lacking in joy or hope. I am so inspired by today's guest, Kim Deardorff.
Thank
Welcome
you so much.
to The Three,
Absolutely.
Kim. So there's so many things that you do, and we have, a half hour to discuss it only. I want to just say right off the bat that you are the president of My Story Kim Ministries,
Right.
which is a 501c3. We're going to get into the topic of adoption and why that's so important to Kim. But I just want to put that out there and put it on the screen immediately and keep that in mind as Kim tells his amazing story. Guys, I'm old. I've heard a lot of stories. This is right up there in the top 5 of all the stories I've ever heard about someone who was adopted, first of all, survived death, then survived adoption, and then went on to have a wonderfully blessed life. So let's jump back to the very, very beginning. Where were you born, and tell us what happened when you were born?
Okay, so thank you so much for having me, first of all. It's just so wonderful, and I just always ask God to honor my story and for it to bring him glory. And so I was born in Korea, Seoul, South Korea in 1964, and I was found in the garbage by who knows who and taken to an orphanage within like a few days of when I was born.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Let me just stop you and ask then. We've heard of stories like this in China, but
Sure.
Korea? This was going on in Korea as well?
Yeah, and this was, in the early mid 60s.
Okay.
And
you have no idea who your parents
right.
were?
Yeah, that's a really tough thing to try to wrap your mind around, not knowing where you came from. You don't have an origin, you don't have any foundation. But what I will say is, God gave me the greatest gift of my life at that particular time, because I realized later on in life that I would never be in a more vulnerable position, more helpless state than I was there.
Wow.
And if God could see me and chose to rescue me, there was nothing else in my life that he wouldn't do or couldn't do.
That's right.
Because I was completely helpless. It's one thing to be able to cry out for help, express, what you're going through, have some friend support. But when you're in a garbage can as a baby, you have no ability to help yourself. So the realization of God's hand over my life really kind of set the tone for the rest of my life.
Wow. So then, can I just ask, you don't know who found you.
Right.
It makes me wonder how many babies aren't found in that situation, So the fact that you survived at all is monumental. Okay. So how did you get out of Korea? Tell us about that. I'm sure it was the adoption process, but what happened?
Okay, so I spent a week in a hospital. They thought I'd be blind because they thought something wrong was with my eyes.
Okay.
I had something wrong with my eyes. Also, I didn't have a birthday, so they gave me January 1st.
You don't know your birthday?
Yeah, right. So they just assigned me January 1st, and oddly enough, I've met other adoptees over the years, and they have January 1st as their birthday too. And it's kind of neat, actually.
It's like a little club.
Right.
You
Exactly.
were all the Jan 1ers.
Yeah, that's right. So, so I only spent 4 months in the orphanage, and but what's crazy is during that time, international adoption was kind of early in its development, and a major news crew from America wanted to kind of highlight or document what was happening.
Yeah.
And so they sent a film crew on my adopted parents' trip to Korea. So I have all that on film.
Wow. Okay.
And so while they're there during that week filming, the founder of the orphanage dies of a heart attack. The guy spent his whole life, all of his life savings, flew his family to Korea to start this orphanage, and he dies that week. And I'm there at his funeral in the film.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
So the orphanage almost didn't even exist.
Yeah, it was.
There are so many moving parts to this to how you got rescued. I'm just baffled.
It was going through a real hard time. But anyway, I got adopted by some parents that lived in Michigan. They adopted another Korean girl, not my biological sister, but became my adopted sister.
Okay.
And we moved to the middle of Michigan when I was 4 months old.
Wow. Okay, then. So the story still has some uphill moments from there.
Sure.
So you get adopted, and what happened next?
Well, I think, of course, you can't really remember everything at the beginning.
You're a baby.
But I can remember things from about 1.5 on.
Okay.
And I discovered, as I was growing a little bit older, some things in the home that just weren't quite right. Okay. And when I turned 2, 3, somewhere in that range, I realized that my mom in particular was really struggling. I think she always struggled with her self-worth. I think she always struggled with having peace and happiness in her life. And it's strange because she saw that I was happy, despite my circumstances.
Okay.
I just had joy.
I
was just born with joy.
Wow.
And she saw that I had joy, and I think she was jealous that I could have joy and that she wasn't feeling joy.
Wow.
And so from that point on, I think she almost made it a mission to destroy my joy.
That is unbelievable. So the person who, in a sense, rescued you or took you from Korea to give you a home wound up envying you. Obviously, it was a supernatural joy. I believe it found you that day in the cold in the trash can. How sad. And I'm so sorry. When we come back from the break, what I really want to do is I want to hone in on that. I almost hate to break here, but I want to hone in on that a little bit because the next many, many years of your life were not happy. So on top of this issue of being rejected at birth is now the compounding issue of the rejection afterwards. I'm really eager to hear how you found the Lord and how everything began to really change for you. Because I met you after the fact. I now know this Kim, full of joy and just happy, and it is, trust me, against all odds. So don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back with Kim's story more after the break.
Hi, I'm Laura Harris-Smith, inventor of Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend. You know, if you would have told me 2 years ago when I was mixing that very first little bottle that we would have thousands of customers from all over the world and that we'd have to quadruple our staff to keep up with the demand produced by our international TV infomercial, I'm not sure I would have believed you. And if you told me I'd be hearing regular testimonies of improved sleep, reduced stress, migraine relief, even help with other neurological challenges like seizures, PTSD, tremors, muscle spasms, even anxiety, well, I probably would have cried. And sometimes when I'm reading a Quiet Brain testimony, I do. But if you would have told me 1 year ago when we introduced our Quiet Brain Variety Gift Box that it would become the biggest selling item on our online store at quietbrainoil.com, I would have said, I believe it. The reason is because I created the gift box to be the perfect combination of all of our Quiet Brain products. The oil itself for topical use on the skin that contains only certified pure oils that can cross the blood-brain barrier and bring speedy relief and neurological support. And our aromatherapy line with our Quiet Brain shampoo and conditioner, candles, inhalers, all of which use the nasal passages to gain direct access to the limbic brain, which is the emotional center of the brain. So whether you need to use Quiet Brain topically or aromatherapeutically, the Quiet Brain gift box has everything that you need. And now we've given our gift box an upgrade without increasing the price. It now comes with our satin Quiet Brain Sleep Eye Mask. Just put a few drops of oil on the nose guard and you're on your way to enjoying a good night's sleep. And it all comes packaged in a beautiful gift box and delivered to the destination of your choice or sent to you so you can use it for 7 different gifts or keep a few for yourself. When sold separately, the items in the box are $160, but you're getting it for $135. That's a $25 savings, meaning that you're getting the nasal inhaler and the shampoo and conditioner for free. The Quiet Brain gift box comes with 1 Whisper Quiet Nightlight diffuser with 16 color options and intermittent mist options, 1 dropper bottle of Quiet Brain, 1 Quiet Brain nasal inhaler, 1 Quiet Brain candle, the satin sleep eye mask, and your healing shampoo and conditioner. And remember, both are color safe, aloe enriched, paraben and sulfate free, loaded with wonderful ingredients like unscented coconut oil, olive oil, sugar beet betaine, and of course the Quiet Brain blend with its 8 essential oils like lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more. We get repeated testimonies of both being used with great effectiveness during headaches for pain relief. So go to quietbrainoil.com to order. Quiet Brain is a great gift for any time of the year, but especially for seasons like these that bring additional stress. Give the gift of health and peace this year. Give the gift of Quiet Brain.
Hey guys, welcome back to The Three. I'm Laura. We're here today with Kim Deardorff, and before the break, we were talking about your incredible story of being found in a garbage dump. It was basically a trash can.
Right.
Was it indoor or outdoor?
Oh, outdoor in
It
the
was
middle
outdoor
of winter.
in the middle of winter, because we've established that they think that you were born in January. January 1 is now the day assigned to you. And then you find yourself in an adoptive situation that wasn't good. It wasn't good. So tell us as much or as little as you want, but describe to us coming to America and finding yourself like out of the frying pan and into the fire, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up in a little small town in Michigan. We were the only Koreans, for one thing, we were the only Koreans. And that didn't necessarily make me feel odd, but it was just the, I think that the fact that my adopted mother didn't accept me. And
Wow.
and like I was saying, I think she was jealous that I could be happy and that she wasn't happy. And I don't say that's all her fault. I think she must have had some sort of traumatic experience in her life that she never got to heal. She never found healing. She never, was able to work through that.
Wow.
So, yeah, she made pretty much every day of my life as miserable as she could. If she found out that I liked something, she made sure that I didn't get it.
Now, what you said we were Korean. Was she Korean or she was American?
She was white. She was American. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she would just tell me every day how ugly I was, how stupid I was, how I would never be able to accomplish anything and why she wondered why she ever adopted me. And so I'd go to bed at night as a child and I'd just be crying. I'd be like, why would God save me from the garbage and put me into this situation? And it was hard for me to comprehend. And then for some reason, I think around the age of 3, I just felt God's presence over my life. And we had an old out-of-tune piano at the house. I mean, old, like built in 1900. And I found myself playing notes on the piano when I was 3. My mom said I started playing melodies off records when I was 3. And there was nobody else in the house that was musical, but as soon as I hit that out-of-tune note, even out-of-tune note, it was so beautiful. It just transformed my being into feeling something beautiful and a connection to God.
And now, I want to ask you about that, but since you've inserted the piano piece, you are a beautiful artist on the piano. You're a pianist, but you are so gifted, and I've heard your music, and we're going to play a little bit for the people here in just a moment. But you, I did not know that piece, that you found it that early, and it was really like an escape for you.
It was one of the things that helped me survive my childhood.
Really?
Yes, because of how beautiful it was. It was so in contrast to what I was living. It allowed me just to connect to something beautiful.
Well, how did there come to be a piano in your house? Did someone else play it?
I say no, nobody was musical. My mom liked music.
Uh-huh.
She wasn't really musical. I guess, I don't know.
God put it there. I'm curious. I'm just curious why it was there.
You know, it's interesting. It's interesting. I convinced my mom to let me move it into my bedroom. And it was this old upright piano. I had the piano, I had my bed, and I had my little dresser, and I had about 3 feet of walking space in between all three. And I could reach up from my bed and play the piano.
Oh, I just picture
But
you
I
doing
needed that. I
that.
wanted that piano in my room
Yeah.
because it was just something that I connected with.
I can just tell it. All right, you mentioned God and feeling His presence at 3.
That's right.
How did you become aware of Him, and were you raised like in a Christian? How did you even have that concept? Coming from Korea here, who and how and where did you find God?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
My mother was Seventh-day Adventist, and she was very strict about the Seventh-day Adventist faith.
Okay.
My dad was never a church goer. And so she raised us very strict Seventh-day Adventist. And so we'd go to church every week.
Which is Christian.
It's
Christian,
Christian.
yeah.
Yeah. But we'd go to church every week. So, you know, obviously I heard about the Lord, I heard about God, I heard about creation, I heard all the Bible stories.
Jesus, yeah.
And so I was exposed to the Christian faith. I was exposed to the stories in the Bible, and for some reason I connected with those. From an early age.
So then you knew when whatever this experience was that you had at 3. Now, was it an encounter? Like it happened once, or you just began to know from there He was with you?
It was an ongoing thing. Yeah, it was a awareness of His presence.
I'm just really curious. I've not talked to many people who've said that. It happened to me when I was about 8, and it was an event. I mean, I grew up in church, but I didn't know that this was supposed to happen, you know, but from that day forward, I was very aware. I wasn't even a Christian yet. It would be another year or so. But I was very aware of His presence, and that I was supposed to do something. Like it gave me a vision for the future. I didn't know what it was, but it helped me to throw the ropes up and get there.
I felt the exact same thing.
I just have chills. I just felt like you did. That was
felt
from the moment
a purpose in
3
my
years
life.
old.
I felt a purpose in my life, and I felt like at some point in my life, I didn't know when and I didn't know how I was going to escape this environment.
Yeah.
But I knew with God, He had me.
I tell you, that was the Lord. He was giving you hope.
He
You know,
was.
without vision, the people perish.
That's right.
Perish. And so He was giving you a vision, not even you're going to grow up and start this amazing 501c3 for children. Oh, you're going to grow up and be a great pianist. And you work at NRB.
That's right.
You are a video editor for NRB. Like, there's so many things that you do. But you're saying that just with the relationship that the Lord started with you, wooing you at 3 years of age, you knew it was going to be okay somehow, some way.
The lesson I learned was I couldn't trust anybody. I didn't have any stable entity in my life except for God. And for some reason, I developed a trust that God never let me down. I mean, He was always there. He was always present. He always provided. And no matter what I was going through, I knew that God would not let me down.
I am amazed at so many different levels, but I just want to even just thank the Lord for preserving your life,
Absolutely.
preserving your joy. And guys, when we come back from the break, you're going to hear some other things that He has done. I want us, as we go to the break right now, though, I want you to just listen to a little clip of Him playing and Kim's music here, just as we go to the break, and then we'll see you on the other side after the commercial break.
Aromatics Oil is a family of therapeutic-grade patented oil blends created by nutritionist and author Laura Harris Smith. Invented for her own lifelong journey for neurological health, Quiet Brain now helps those worldwide who suffer from insomnia, migraines, anxiety, seizures, tremors, and more. Quiet Brain contains oils like frankincense, myrrh, lavender, sandalwood, and others. Next, Happy Brain is a bright mood-lifting citrus blend and contains oils like lemon, lime, clementine, spearmint, and more. Users say it combats depression and even aids in weight loss. Next is Sharp Brain, Laura's Focus Blend, also used to improve cognitive memory issues with oils like coffee, cinnamon, vanilla, clove, and others. Each $69.95 bottle is a 10-week supply if used daily, or about $1 a day. And right now, buy 2 bottles and get the third one free, and get a free eye mask using the promo code on your screen at neuromaticsoil.com or at 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
I'm naturopathic Dr. Laura Harris Smith, and if you'll give me 10 days, Give It to God and Go to Bed can help you stress less, sleep better, and dream more. There are even links inside to my free 10 Days to Deeper Sleep and Dreams program and 10 Goodnight videos.
Can you close your eyes and just still listen to me?
The whole book takes place in your bedroom, and with chapter titles like The Junk Under Your Bed, The Treasures in Your Bedroom, and The Monsters in Your Closet. Give It to God and Go to Bed helps you learn to rest and hear God speak in dreams. Take back your sleep and dreams, my friend, with Give It to God and Go to Bed.
Hey guys, I'm Laura. You're watching The Three. We're talking with Kim Deardorff today. Okay, I'm gonna spiel through these. There's so much you do. Whatever, if I leave something out, you are in video production at NRB. What's your title there?
Video production manager, NRB
Video
TV.
production, NRB TV.
Yeah.
My son Jude worked with you. He
Yep.
absolutely
I loved Jude. I loved him. It was
he
fun.
loves you. He
was fun.
loves you. He thinks you're a rock star. Okay, and then also you have. Do you still go and do you play piano or speak? You speak at events still?
I do.
Okay.
When invited, and
Can you give us an address to where they can get in touch with you for that?
yeah, if you just go to mystorykim.com, and then you'll find all the information on how to connect with us and
Great.
yeah.
mystorykim.com. So there, will they learn about your 501c3?
They will. They'll learn about what I've done. I was invited to be on a tour in 2008, 2009.
Wow.
I did 73 cities in 6.5 months, which culminated with my story being featured on the world's largest Christian concert tour, Winter Jam.
Wow. Oh, okay, that's right. I have heard about this.
And so
Wow.
and so that kind of started it. But also, I put a little video together in 2007, put it
Yes.
up on YouTube. And that's how people started contacting me from all over the world and asking me to come and speak at different conferences. And I'd never ever been a speaker. Never even thought about being a speaker. But just a couple little things that God took me through that we don't have time to go through everything. I've been homeless 3 times in my life.
Have you really?
Yes, I'm self-taught piano, self-taught audio. I've worked with companies like Walt Disney. I did all the audio for all the exhibits at NASA at the Kennedy Space Center. Universal, Discovery Channel, McDonald's, Nissan. So those, and every one of those situations, I learned audio editing on a computer in the early 90s when it was first, the technology was first being born.
Yeah.
I went to a 1-week class on digital audio, and my first project was a $7 million film. And so what I learned is
Wow.
that if God gives you an opportunity, He always gives you the ability to be successful, even though I never thought I could do it. I mean, I always fought my fears and insecurities and thought I wasn't good enough. And it's just by trusting God and trusting God and trusting God that He allows you to experience success through His power.
That is
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. Okay, there are so many rabbit holes to this story.
I know.
Could you stick around for a second
will.
episode? Okay, he's gonna do a part 2, so we'll do part 2 next week. So here's how I wanna wrap this one up. We just heard you playing a little bit, and I think next week I wanna show that video you're talking about. So there was a 30-minute documentary made on your life in 2006 or 7. YouTube started, so you took it, chopped it down to like 3 minutes. Put that on YouTube. How many views does it have now? Mercy.
Well, it just started out.
It just mushroomed and
Yeah.
it got you invitations, and
I think
you show
it
up.
had 300,000 views in the first initial.
Okay. So, but he said he started getting invitations, and then got to the first one and found out you were the keynote speaker. You didn't even know. for adoptees. So that's kind of how I want to wind this segment out. And you can just, if you want to talk directly to someone, you can right in your camera. Or what would you say if someone's watching this and they're like, why did these people adopt me? Why am I here? Why did God abandon me? Why? It's the why game.
Yes, sure, of course.
What would you say to somebody who's in that now?
Well, what I would say is, I think the struggle of humankind, there's several, but one of the main struggles is finding your identity. Because you really can't find your purpose and your direction without knowing your identity.
Right, that's right.
And I thought my identity might be in my music, because I learned that early on, and it kind of started gathering interest. But what I ultimately discovered, that my identity was in Christ. My identity was in God through Christ. And as a child of God, you just act differently. You have a different presence about you. You have a different meaning to your life, because He's the God of the universe, and He controls it all, and He loves His children, and you have the opportunity to do everything that He created you to do.
Wow. Okay, so I love the presence of the Lord, and when He comes into a room, it just changes everything.
That's
and
right.
It just happens sitting here talking to you. You are ministry, and I think what I'm picking up on is there are people who are lonely, abandoned, rejected, and they are now feeling hope. They're feeling that hope. So what I want you to do, if you would, I want you to come back next week, and I want you to just listen to the conclusion of the story. We're going to encourage you again. Tell everyone you know, get them to tune in. If you know anyone who's dealing with rejection, abandonment, hopelessness, self-pity, I mean, this could go on and on and on. And Kim, I want you to give us the website one more time where they can reach you and get in touch with you. Where would that be?
Okay, so my website is mystorykim.com, and it has a link to, you probably be contacting my wife, Sherry, and just connect with her and send your information and requests, and we'll be more than happy to get back with you.
And we got to talk about her in episode 2. We have so much of your life we've not even talked about. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, another great episode of The Three, and I can't wait to see you back here next week. I'm Laura Harris Smith. Bye-bye for now.